Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a great day. My name is Eddie, and this is my first video for my new channel, Eddie Upkeep. And I would just like to share my one of my favorite hobbies, Magic the Gathering, with you. I'll talk a little bit about myself and what got me into this hobby many years ago. I think it was around 1997 or 98, and I worked at a little grocery store, and next to that grocery store was a gaming shop, comic shop. It was called the Y2K Cafe, and that's where I learned how to play Magic. Well, before even then, what got me into all this is the first Diablo 1. I was introduced to that in about somewhere around 1996, 97, and I just moved to the area where the grocery store was, and I was addicted to that game. It was a great game. Still is. I play it from time to time, and from there, my hobbies expanded to many other PC video games and Magic the Gathering 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons, and then later expanded to just about everything fantasy related. Eventually 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons 3.5. I just love it. I still love it, and I always will. I am not that good at playing Magic, but I do enjoy it very much. I never been real competitive, but something about this game that just draws me in, and it's a great game. Building the decks, just the creativity involved in it is it's great. I love it. I think my first Magic deck was a black deck. Nothing expensive, nothing, nothing that great, but I mean, I can remember just obsessing over it, and I still do obsess over it. Hence why I am attempting to create this channel to share my love of many things. Magic the Gathering 1, role-playing games, along with many other things. I just love to, I just love it all. And unlike the old days when, many of us, I know I'm not alone here, had groups of friends, our regular groups, those days are gone for many of us, and we still just search for a way to scratch that itch of Magic the Gathering or Dungeons and Dragons or whatever have you, whatever game that you love to play. I love video games as well, but it's, the way anymore, it's just not the same. Uh, it's not the same as sitting down at a table with your friends and just getting to get to enjoy that game with a large group of people, or 5, 6 people. Uh, it's those days seem, at least for me, and I'm sure many others are long gone, but we can share our love for the game or these hobbies now like this with YouTube or social media. I'm just looking through an old deck. I haven't played for quite some time. I made this deck several years ago. Probably not even finished, to tell you the truth, but I'm just looking through some of these cards and checking their value on TCG Player, just to get an idea of what these cards are worth now, because it's been a very long time since I've even looked at any of these cards, and I just enjoy doing it. I just enjoy. It's kind of relaxing just to sit down and just go through the cards and look, and including building the decks and just getting into it and enjoying it. So a little bit about me. I've told you I was started in about 97 or 98. I think I remember what was coming out. I want to say Exodus was I'm sure there was another, but I remember that set coming out when I started playing. And if I still had some of those cards I had back then, of course, I'd be in much better shape than I am currently. Not that I'm in bad shape, and just be nice to have those cards, right? Life sometimes gets in the way of our hobbies, and we misplace things, sell things, regret selling them maybe, or but it is what it is. I remember it had to have been about 2005 when those big D&D icons of the realms came out, and there was a gargantuan red dragon. I mean, a huge red dragon. Gargantuan. And I think it was like $100, which was, a good bit of money back then. For a hobby, a good little chunk of change to sit down on something. But I picked that thing up, and we used it in games, and it was great. It was around I think it was 3.5, had to be. And I used it in several games, of course, give me an excuse to plop a gargantuan red dragon down on the playboard as the DM, which of course is fun for everybody. And I think, and I had a ton of those miniatures, and including that, I think I had the black dragon as well that had come out around that time. And I think then me and my wife at the time, we had a little boy, and we was doing some remodeling at the house, and we kind of needed some money, so I think I had sold all that stuff. I mean, it's a ton, including that red dragon, for like $50. Like, just take it. I probably never play again, which is a silly thing to think now, of course, because regardless, I wish I still had it. But you know, those things are going for, the last time I looked, $500 or $600. I paid $100 for it back then. But you know, that's life. We we collect things, we sell things, but that's what's good about this hobby is, you know, you put a little money into it, you can get a little money back. You may not, depending on your situation, you may get, you know, you may get a lot back. You may double, triple, quadruple, or more your money, or you might lose money, but you will get some money back. And if you enjoy playing these games like I do, you've gotten a good bit of entertainment out of these things already, the way I like to look at it anyway. And there's not, you know, like I said, you can sit there and say, you know, hey, I wish I'd have held on to it, but the bottom line is, you know, things happen. You got to do what you got to do, and you do it. And that's just life. But anyway, bottom moral of that story is I wish I hadn't sold it. And you know, maybe one of these days I'll pick one back up and have it again. You know, but I have a few of the recent releases. I think I had the White Dragon, the big one that came out not too long ago. And forgive me for not remembering the names of all these things. I am an old man, and most of my memory is dedicated to things I absolutely have to remember. And a lot of the time, these types of things are what I enjoy to do, but it's not something that I have to do, so I don't use valuable memory slots, if you will, to remember them. But I do love it, and always will while I'm still here. So I told you I was working a little grocery store before I started playing Magic the Gathering, and I'd go over there after work and just meet people. And back then, the place would be full of, you know, young people ranging in age, you know, and it was a lot of fun. The one I went to, they had computers set up, and we could go in there, and you paid an hourly fee. When they still have these, and you'd play with, you know, on LAN with each other, have a LAN party, and or just play whatever you wanted to play. I just sit down and play Diablo a lot. I put in a lot of hours of Diablo, and then we would play different like strategy games like Total Annihilation, Command and Conquer, and or shooter games like Team Fortress, different, you know, video games. I remember my first computer had a 4 GB hard drive. First computer I owned. And I remember when the 10 GB hard drives came out. That was something back then. And, you know, I'm sure there's some people out there that remember further back than I do, or was in it back further than me. But for me, because I didn't get into it until I was in my 20s. I wasn't really into any of this until my 20s. I was just not, didn't really know. I think I was always intrigued by fantasy. I was always interested, but didn't know anything about it. Didn't know anyone that knew anything about it until I started working at that little grocery store. And I had played some Diablo prior to working at that grocery store a little bit. I had a friend that had it, and I got addicted, and I go to his house early in the morning and jump on his computer, because we was pretty good friends, good enough for him to let me come into his house while he was sleeping and play his computer. So, and I would get on there and I'd play, and I'd play for a good little bit of time, and then I ended up moving. And when I moved to the area where I was working at that grocery store, they had that shop there, and I pick back up and start playing, and it progressed from there. And we'd have the 3.5 discs, floppy disks, whatever you want to call them, and we'd save all our stuff and take it, and when we got on a different computer, we could load it in, load our character, our items, what have you. Eventually I got a computer, and then I had a roommate, and we would save those items and then share them. A lot of people would do that back then. But I stuck with the grocery store and worked for that particular grocery store for about 4 years, I think. And then I moved on to a few other things, worked for a few other places, but eventually I became a butcher for a grocery store. I've been doing that for quite some time. There's not as many places now that offer that. There are a few, but most places are going to, they don't want to pay butchers anymore. It's too expensive to pay someone that's skilled, so they want to figure out ways to cut out the skilled labor without you knowing, or even if you do know, it doesn't matter. But anyway, so that's what I've been doing for quite some time in between my hobbies. I've been in the grocery business now for quite some time. Been a butcher for quite some time. And that's a little bit about me. Just about what I do anyway, and about some of the things that I love. And I hope to do some more videos here, just talking, just kind of just sharing the things that I love, and a few things about myself, and maybe I'll do some booster pack openings, or maybe share some of the deck ideas that I have, which won't be good. But maybe I'll find some stuff that I think's cool, and maybe we'll talk about it. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. If you want to subscribe, give me a like. That'd be great. I would appreciate that very much. Just an old butcher that is gonna talk a little bit about himself, and hopefully you come along for the ride. Alright guys, thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.